Why do most people fail to even start, and how to quickly get in the habit of just doing it? Hi everyone, my name's Graham, but my friends call me Coach Grazy. Now, first off, I want to congratulate you for being here with me. And the fact that you have already taken action tells me you're serious about making a real change. I'm really excited about this because I'm passionate about this topic. The roadblocks I'm going to talk about, they've affected me. In some cases, they've held me back from success for months and even years. And if I can help you break through the roadblocks so that you can just get started at whatever your goal or ambition is, then I know your success is just around the corner. Again, congratulations for being here. I really do appreciate you. You're awesome, my friend. Okay, I'm going to share with you the two main roadblocks that prevent most people from getting started at anything. Have you ever had one of those ideas that you're sure will work, something that would change your life? You feel it inside. You know you have the potential to make this thing work, to make it happen. And if you did, awesome things would happen. But that idea still remains just that, an idea. I certainly have. I know I have the potential, I say. I'll get to it one of these days, but one of these days never comes. Now imagine if you were in the habit of just starting without any real thought, right? Just starting. Every awesome idea that came into your head, you just started it. Do you think by now one of them would have taken off? Imagine what your life would look like and how would you feel about yourself? Well, I'm not only going to show you how to recognize and then break through these roadblocks, I'm going to give you 5 simple steps as a takeaway. But first, you need to recognize and accept the roadblocks and then simply implement the 5 steps. And things will start to change for you. And the faster you do this, the faster success will come. Now, let's not procrastinate anymore. No need to overthink all of this. Let's just get started. Isn't that what it's all about? Roadblock number 1, it's procrastination. Have you ever had the simplest of tasks to do, like taking out the rubbish? Now, you got to do it, but for some reason, you keep putting it off, until the last minute. You get distracted by other things, which become excuses for just not doing it. But it only really takes a few minutes to grab the bin, go outside and come back in. No big deal, really. So why didn't you take the bin out the first time? The first time you thought entered your head. The reason is procrastination is actually a deeply ingrained pattern of behavior. And it's a massive roadblock to success. Now, this behavioral habit, it affects simple everyday tasks. And because we continue the behavior, we reinforce the habit. You'd be surprised just how often we all procrastinate every day. But the good news is that being a habit means we can stop it when we avoid the behavior on a consistent basis. So I want you to take some notes and then follow the simple steps that I'm going to give you at the end. So you have the best possible chance of getting started and then succeeding and breaking the habit of procrastination. Now, the number one thing you can do to eradicate procrastination is implement the ready, fire, get it up the right way, aim technique, which translates simply into, get ready quickly, act without hesitation, fire, and then worry about the adjustments, worry about the aim, worry about perfecting it later. Anytime you want to reach a goal quickly, act fast, take massive action, implement immediately, and then make any necessary adjustments, correcting mistakes and perfecting it all later. Now, the majority of the population follows this in reverse, which is unfortunately the most common pathway to mediocrity. They get trapped in the ready phase, procrastinating, trying to perfect their aim and never actually taking a shot at their target. They get stuck here. Ready your name. Now, I could have spent days or weeks researching this topic, seeking industry feedback, writing scripts, editing the scripts, having others review and comment, and then hopefully one day when I felt it was perfect, where I had the best possible chance of not being judged or ridiculed by the content or the presentation or how I'm delivering this or the picture or anything, then when that date came, then I'd produce it and publish it. Problem is, that day never comes. What I did was I used the get ready quickly, get it out there, and I'll perfect it later technique. And this production was written and produced in 24 hours. Now it's out there, I'll review the comments and feedback later, I'll make adjustments, and I'll reproduce it based on what I've learned. You see, the process of me teaching you, it also teaches me. How good's that? Now, will it be perfect? Is it perfect? No. Will everyone like it? No. Does that matter? No, not to me anyway. As long as it helps serve even one person, then as far as I'm concerned, it's successful, even if that one person is me. I will master this topic, and I'll master the production in time. But I've learned that the faster I start something and get it out there, the faster the related success comes. Just get it done, get it out there. There's obviously a step required before you fire, before you take the shot. You've got to get ready. Now, getting ready can also be referred to as the research phase. It's definitely necessary to do a little research and get ready before you start anything. You can't just fire into thin air because you won't hit anything. You first need a target. And this is where we discover the ins and outs of what's necessary to hit our target and reach our goals. Now, it could be that you have a goal of obtaining, let's say, a certification as a health industry professional. The ready phase is where you do a little research on the training, the academic options, the different schools, your study options, face-to-face versus online, how much is the course going to cost me, etc. But be careful, as the ready phase is also where people, they find the reason to procrastinate. Have you ever spent so much time researching an opportunity that you came across only to lose the opportunity because you procrastinated too long? I certainly have. The number one reason for failure to start anything is being stuck in the ready phase. It's like reading 30 dating books before you ever go dating. Just get out there and do it. Recognize that the ready phase can trap you in the habit of procrastination. Now, you can squash this habit by taking action now. Now is as good a time as any to start. Don't overthink it. Just do it. This is where you charge straight in and take immediate action, even if you don't understand all the nitty-gritty stuff. Just do it. Just start. Just do it now. What's the worst that can happen? The best way to master anything is by doing it, adjusting as you learn, and then doing it again. I know so many technically skilled industry professionals who are flat broke because they never got started. Because their fears of procrastination held them back from starting their business or taking the next step in their career. I also know people who have built six-figure plus incomes within 12 months of obtaining their certification because they just went for it. They just jumped straight in and got started. Now, the number two roadblock, it is fear. Fear also is what leads to procrastination. They're linked. Fear is a powerful force. It's there. It helps us stay alive. It prevents us from doing silly stuff, so it's necessary. However, it also creates a mental block that can prevent you from achieving the life you want and you deserve. Fear has the power to literally kill your ambitions, your goals and your dreams. Fear creates excuses that can seem legitimate enough so that you either procrastinate or you stop taking action. You go back into your comfort zone because it feels safe there. Now the problem is that most of our fears, they're subconscious and therefore they're not always easy to identify. It's hard sometimes to know exactly what type of fear it is that's holding you back. Now, if you're an adult and you're alive, which I assume you are, you've had struggles and setbacks in your life. It's normal. You know, we all have. We've all got stories to tell. But often it's these struggles that have created the fears that are holding us back. Now, like every one of you, I've had my struggles, some small and some large, And I know that some of these struggles have developed fears that have had a strong grip on my life. For many years, I wanted to quit my lucrative career in the corporate finance industry and follow my passion for health and fitness. But I didn't do it because I was scared. Fear was the main reason I was procrastinating. It was the main reason why I wasn't working on my highest level or on the highest value activities that would actually help me achieve my goals. It was fear that was sabotaging my success. But fortunately, I learned how to use fear as a guide for action, and it now helps me navigate what I should be doing and where I should be going with my life and where I should be going with my business. Have I mastered my fears? No. Do I recognize them and do I take steps to ensure that they don't lead to procrastination? Hell yes, I have. Okay, I'm going to quickly discuss the 4 main types of fears that lead to procrastination, and then I'm going to give you the 5 simple steps, your takeaway, which you can action now. I'm going to cover the fear thing in more detail in another production, but for now, these 5 steps that I'm going to give you at the end, the takeaway, they're your immediate action. There you get onto it. Let's do them right now. Okay. So we're talking about starting, taking immediate action, doing it now. To help with that, to help you get started, you need to be able to recognize the fears that may be leading to your procrastination and holding you back. So I'll quickly explain there are 4 of them, what the main 4 fears are, so you start to recognize and address them, which means you can start tapping into your full potential. Okay, fear number 1. It's the fear of rejection. Now, the fear of rejection is probably the biggest fear out there. We've all been rejected at some time in our lives. It lowers our self-esteem and our confidence. As humans, we're social creatures. We all need other people in our lives in order to survive and thrive. When you stop and think about it, we are all dependent on other people. We need them to uplift us and fill us with love and encouragement. But we also need them for food and shelter and water to stay alive. Now, it's because of this instinctive need that we would do anything to be accepted by others. And conversely, we do anything to avoid everything that could possibly mean rejection. Now, unfortunately, the fear of rejection causes many people to give up on their dreams and their ambitions. They abandon the idea of starting something new or different because their friends aren't doing it, and they don't want to stand out. They don't start a new career or business. They don't take the next step in their career, because they're afraid they won't get the support of their colleagues, their friends, and their family. Bottom line is to avoid the pain of rejection, we do things that aren't in alignment with our purpose and mission. And in particular, we procrastinate. Now, maybe you're suffering from this type of fear. I still do. And I'm here to tell you, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's human nature. It's okay. We all have this fear. When you identify and accept that your fears, that they're yours, but we all have them. When you do that, only then can you start to overcome them. All right, fear number 2, the fear of failure. Now, the fear of failure is another big reason why many people don't achieve their best life possible. In fact, the fear of failure can be so paralyzing that people simply decide to do nothing. They may continue to talk about their potential and their goals, but they never actually start anything. By procrastinating, what we're doing is we're trying to protect ourselves from real failure. Have you ever said to yourself, I could do amazing things if I gave it everything I have and tapped into my full potential, which was then followed by a but, which leads to an excuse, which leads to procrastination. As long as you don't start, you're at least not confronted by the possibility of real fear. You can always refer back to the excuse that you haven't given it your all yet, and that potentially when you do, things will be so much better. But you'll do it when the time's right. Make no mistake, not taking action and failing to ever start is a far bigger failure than starting something that fails. Right, fear number 3. It's the fear of success. Now, the fear of success, it's often misunderstood. Now, I'm assuming, as a health industry professional, you're all about creating a fit, healthy, and financially successful life. And you're already putting the effort in to make that happen by just being here. Yet, subconsciously, it's still possible to fear the success that you're actually striving for because success is scary. But, why, you ask? It's because it's unknown territory. Fear is there to protect us from the unexpected. So anything unknown is scary. Subconsciously, you can keep yourself safe from facing your true limits and the unknown success that comes with the achievement by avoiding opportunities, by putting things off. Fear number 4, it's the fear of ridicule. Now, this fear has become more common with the growth of social media, as we're more exposed to the opinions of others. And it is a significant limiting factor for many people. It's not limited to social media. It's there anytime we put ourselves in front of others, running group sessions, one-on-one consults, giving presentations like this, or speeches, etc. All this stuff can manifest the fear of ridicule. Now, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, or record a course or a video, but you're afraid of how you'll look in front of the camera. Or maybe you want to start a business that some of your friends or family don't understand, like I did when I wanted to quit my high-end corporate job to become a personal trainer. I feared what people would say. I feared that they'd ridicule me for it. In many cases, we fear that the things we do, say, or like will be ridiculed and made fun of by other people. And this fear will be even bigger if it concerns the opinions of your friends and your family. The fear of ridicule, it certainly has been a massive subconscious fear for me. I'm stumbled talking about it. When I started my first personal training business, and I had to do my first launch at the local sports centre, I only had a couple of clients, and they were my friends and family. I feared that no one else was going to turn up, and that some of my friends and family members, they'd see it as a failure, and they'd also think that I looked like a fool and that I should have stayed with my old, high-paying corporate job, But I did it anyway, regardless of the opinions of others. And I've come to accept, if you want to achieve great things in life, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, look a little silly for a while, You have to embrace the fact that you aren't yet at the level you want to be or could be, and that it's just part of the success journey. Only when you accept and embrace this will you be able to show up with consistency and authenticity, to grow and improve until eventually you don't look stupid anymore. Although, do I? I don't care. Everyone who's ever made it in life or in business has faced ridicule and looked like a fool in the opinion of some people. Those who started out because they're willing to take the initiative, trying to implement new ideas, follow unexplored paths, or create a better life for themselves, and they've succeeded, they'll always be ridiculed by someone along the way. You stand out because you are different. You know, it's your ambition that confronts others with their own lack of ambition. They'll have a crack at you, you know, and try to ridicule you because what they're doing is trying to protect their own ego. It actually has nothing to do with you or me. Now, when you get your head around this, it becomes easy to squash this fear. But it'll only happen when you put yourself out there. You've got to start. Don't overthink it, just start. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. I'm sure you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It was a lot of information. So this is what I'm going to do for you. First off, we've identified that the main factors in preventing you from starting right now are procrastination and fear. And it's the fear that feeds the procrastination. We now know that procrastination is just a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken through consistent positive action, but you've got to take action. We know that the biggest step in managing our fears is by first identifying, which we've done today, and then accepting them. Either write down these 5 steps or click on the link below and I'll send you the PDF transcript of this whole presentation along with the 5 action steps, but you need to do it now. All right, so what are the steps? Step 1, realize that everyone has fears. It's perfectly normal. Now, I know that sounds simple, but when you accept that your fears are natural and everyone has them, your mind can far more easily accept them. Put it in your diary, put it in your daily mantra, you know, write it up somewhere, put it on the wall so it remind yourself every day that it's okay, it's normal, we all have them. Step 2, identify and write down 3 of your fears and be honest with yourself and be detailed in your description. By writing them down and the more detail you put into that, you're confronting them. And when they're no longer hiding in the shadows, they're not as scary. And often they lose all their power. Step 3, for each of your fears, write down the worst case scenario. As I assure you, the subconscious mind always dramatically overestimates our fears. Step 4, using your list, turn the fear into a gratitude. So for example, you know, I'm fearful of starting a new business. Turn this into, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to start a new business. You know, most people never do. Gratitude is an extremely powerful weapon against fear. Step 5, you know, I'm sure you know this, but start now. Just do it. Take massive action without overthinking it. Action kills fear. So take massive action now and kill the fear before it leads to procrastination. When you learn how to identify and face your fears and implement ready, fire, aim, you'll begin to break the habit of procrastination, and I assure you, the sooner you start, the sooner the momentum kicks in and success comes quickly after.